So, what are values? Values actually help us create our culture. They help guide our behavior in being the best self that we can be when we're at work and even in our life. And they also can help us as team members have a way of being to live up to. Values in particular help us cope better with stress. They help improve motivation for activities that relate to our work. They help improve our performance because we're striving to reach and attain a certain way of being. And I keep saying way of being because values are actually behaviors. They're not just things that sit on a shelf. They can help us become more accepting of different viewpoints and of new information. And they can increase a connection to each other. And in this team building process, what we're doing is we want to actually create a stronger connection so that each of you can feel more accomplished at work. We can take the team from, I call it from a me to a we. And in that me to we, you're still excelling as an individual, but there is this greater purpose of us accomplishing what it is that we want to be accomplishing. And values can actually help us do that. So, an interesting thing is that values are things that often first we need to explore, then we need to articulate them, and then once we have them, start to noticing being aware of when we're doing them and what the kind of after effect is of having lived our values. So values are unconscious drivers of your actions. And often you are driven by your values, but we are not asked to sit down and say, like, what are my values? So remember, values are not like characteristics of who we are. Like, it's important for me to be generous, or I am a fun person, or I have a strong sense of humor, or I have great attention to detail. I'm reliable. Those are characteristics. They also could be values. But in this case, when you do your value sort, I want you to look for things not of what you are, but what would help your experience be more meaningful. I will be dropping off this deck of cards. This is what they look like. Right here, there's contribution, to help or make a positive difference to myself or others. Acceptance, to be open to and accepting myself, others, and life. Fun, to seek, create, and engage in fun-filled activities. So those are some of the values. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take the deck, and I have instructions here. You're going to sort through them. And you're going to put the definitely no in one pile, and then the maybe in another pile, and the definitely yes in the third pile. Then I want you to take the definitely yes, and I want you to start looking at them for, what is it that will help me be the best me at work? Now, there's a difference. I want to explain between goals and values. So goals are often things that we can check off of a list. So at work, if we are constantly goal-oriented, just doing our goals and doing our goals, it really can feel a little shallow, a little meaningless, and often that leads to an incredible amount of burnout. So, as I said, a goal-oriented approach to work is I check off a list, looking for the end achievement. I'm trying to figure out what it will take to get to that end achievement. I often notice, why isn't this done yet? Goals can be kind of pressureful. It's important to have a goal, but it's also important to live that goal through a process. And so values are approaches that can help you think, yes, we want to get this done, but it's also really important to celebrate along the way the small achievements. Or it's really important to be collaborative when we're looking at goals and getting them done at work. And so collaboration could be a value. Now, how we act on that value is that we seek other people's opinions. We make sure that everybody has the right information. We make sure that everybody understands what the bigger picture is. So that's the difference between a goal approach and a values approach. And so what we want to be doing is we want to kind of identify your 3 values. You can do 3 to 5 values. I'm only asking you to do a few. You could have a lot more than that, but we want to make these actionable. Okay, we want to make these actionable. So what we do is we think about flavoring and savoring. So flavoring our approach with values, right? So if my value is, being true and being strong and being brave, that means I'm going to look for times to be brave. And often maybe bravery in the work environment is speaking up about my good idea, or being brave enough in a compassionate way to share that, you're noticing a process that isn't going as well, but maybe with this idea, we could make it grow smoother. And that could be how I'm being brave in my values, in my work, and using one of my values. So you want to flavor your work by sprinkling your values throughout. And then we say you want to savor it. So once you do that, kind of sit back and notice what happens internally. Was it scary to do that? But do you feel better about it? How did it affect your team? Could you check in with them? Did you see something shift because you lived your value? So that's going to be your homework. And you're going to bring your 3 to 5 values in to our next workshop. And then we're also going to do the team values as well. So please know if you have any questions, you can always contact me. And this is going to be really fun.